Hello my friends, I just wanted to share with you today some awesome tips for working with a hooded eye. And as you can tell, I have one done and one not done. And mine are definitely hooded, which some people aren't real sure what does hooded mean. And you can tell the upper lid skin comes right over the actual lid. And you can tell this side is definitely more prominent even than the other. And so, yeah, so I have two different shapes essentially to work with, but they're both fairly hooded and they're both very deep set. Because again, if you go from the side, you can tell how deep set the eye is under the bone that extends forward. So I have both, so I get the shadows from that, and by that hooded eye coming down, it naturally creates its own down line, which then drags the eye down, makes you look more tired, etc. So we're going to work with that today. And just kind of show you my routine. I've had a lot of gals asking me, well, what do you do, Jackie? You always look so nice. You know, this is what I do. So I'm gonna walk you through those steps. I did the rest of my makeup first. I also always start with a primer. So I started with our eye primer at the top there. And what's the importance with an eye primer is that you just smooth that in, and doing that after a moisturizer or eye cream in this case, because I also use foundation primers as well before a foundation. That is just like a paint primer. I always say it's like your spackle and paint primer in one. It helps kind of fill in any creases and crevices, but it also works like a paint primer where it's gonna hold everything in place and literally makes your eye colors even more intense. Now, so first I'm going to start out. With our base color, and so with that I'm going to start with the Sand Castle, and it's just kind of a neutral skin tone. Use a very large kind of powder brush, and you can just smooth that on the whole lid. Just kind of gives it, like I said, almost a match to your skin tone. It helps get rid of the any kind of that pink or purpley tones that you might be seeing again through the thinner skin, if you're dealing with that as well. And it just gives it that nice neutral kind of healthy glow. And by staying with a matte, again, I have found that I prefer mattes on myself. There is nothing wrong with going with some shimmers in strategic places, so I'll show you those as well. So first I just kind of neutralize everything like you can see. So then I begin the second step or color. Our mid-tone is just that. It's kind of a medium tone. Today I'm using our hazelnut, and this color, as you can see, is just a neutral brown. I have it, I'm using our angled crease brush, and by doing that, yes, I tip it upside down so that the most product is going into the crease. So you can see by just doing kind of that windshield wiper effect back and forth, the darkest part is at the bottom. Now you can also flip it the other way once your product has been deposited and soften that as well. Now you only want to go about, again, about 3/4 of the way, and basically following your arch. Deep set eye, sometimes people have more of a puffiness up here, even like I do. You want it to be a matte tone because matte and dark recedes, and luminescent or a shimmer and light tones bring forward. So I want this bone to visually push back, and look at the difference that that just made from before to now just by putting one tone on. So now some people like to go with just 2 colors and keep it super simple, and that's a spot that you can start with. You can also add a little more of the same tone and connect that corner to the corner of your eye. The idea is that you want to create a lift as opposed to that skin dragging down, a lift from the base of your bottom lash line that will continue up. And you can see how I did that here. So, put a little more color there. Connect the two. I soften it out a bit. Again, blend, blend, blend. Blending is your friend. And softening that out. And I'm always kind of cleaning up under the eye and cleaning that area, keeping it clean. I've also learned some tricks over the years to take like a flat business card or post-it note and literally stick it right there from your eye edge to about the end of your brow, or where you would like that brow to kind of stop. So you don't want it straight up, obviously, but you don't want that color coming all the way down here either, or again, it'll visually drag it down, okay? So you just put that mid-tone in the crease to push that color back, or bone back visually, and then continue on to your deeper color. Now with that, again, you want to be switching brushes here. For this, I'm using a blender brush, and this, as you can see, has a more short, dense bristles, and I'm combining both an emerald and a moss color, so that kind of goes with what I'm wearing today, so that creates that turquoise color as my accent. Now you really only need to and want to, especially with my shape of eyes, if you have the same challenges, you really only want to use it in, again, this outer third or so of the eye. And just like I did on this eye, you can bring it up and in a little bit into that shadow onto the bone. So everything is almost a reverse of the way I learned it when I was younger, and maybe at that time I could do it that way, where my lid was dark and then you highlight the bone. But for, again, someone with deep set, hooded eyes, you have to do an opposite, because you want to play this up and keep this light and bring it forward, and again, push that bone back visually, okay? So it's kind of an art trick as well, trying to create depth or things, make things look three-dimensional. But that's the cool thing, is that no matter what challenges we might have, we can fix those. And then, like you see me doing, you can also pat a little color down onto the bottom area, you know, so that you almost have that smoky look. Again, you don't want it thick. Okay. All right, so we have our eyeshadows on, and now I'm going to continue with the eyeliner. So an eyeliner, again, for someone especially with the deeper set and hooded eyes, you do not want to do a thick eyeliner, because again, you literally have practically no eyelid showing. I'm looking to the side here to my mirror so I can tell better, but you can see again, if you look, I have practically no eyelid showing, as opposed to even this side I have a little more. But so of course, to not take up any of that lid space, right? We just want to be bringing out the line of the eye, which is essentially our eyelash line. So, oh, and another tip is we definitely want to have, in order to have a nice super fine line, if you're using a creamed pencil like this, I love our gel pencils, is to sharpen it. So you can take in the cover, there's actually a little sharpener right there, and you put it on there and it sharpens it for you. So makes it much easier so that you can get that nicer, finer line that you're looking for. So another tip to be able to get the line super thin is to go from underneath, not in the waterline, but again in the lash line. And as you can see, I'm just kind of pressing the color into it, coming up from the bottom. Again, it's not a perfect process. Kind of hard to get at it sometimes because your lashes are there as well. So you kind of get in the way. But you can see, again, it totally brought out my lashes more, or that lash line, without being in the waterline. And I just got that little bit right here. And without taking away any of that white space. So once you have your lash liner pressed into that lash line, I did the top. Right now, all I have on the bottom is just that little bit of that emerald and green eyeshadow coming around. If you want a little more, again, same idea, not in the waterline, but right up to it, super thin, just nice little strokes. And you really just want to bring it out only maybe halfway, keeping it super soft, connecting in the corner to the top lash line, so everything is going up and out. See that? So that's the difference there. And again, a lot of people ask me, should they line the top, line the bottom, both? The answer definitely is, somewhat preference, but at the same time, whether you're talking liner, mascara, whichever, it's good to, again, avoid the bottom or stick with just that outside corner and all the way across the top. Whatever you do above is going to help draw that attention, again, up and out. That's the goal. My final step to doing my eyes is the lashes, and you can tell the difference between the two sides. This side that has not been curled, they shoot almost straight out. You just really can't even see that they're there. Where this side, I curled first and then added the mascara. So, and we want to not do mascara before curling, because of course that'll stick to your curler and unfortunately possibly rip some out. And we definitely don't want to do that. So I'm trying to get as close to the base as I can without touching the liner. because I've also done that too, and then I rub all my liner off. So sometimes I do my liner after. So I hold for a few seconds and then kind of work your way up. You curve it a little bit and curve and pinch and curve and pinch. Okay, there they are. So do them with, this is the Lash Love mascara. Love this. I'm just shimmying kind of back and forth so it's thick at the base and thin at the tip. We have many different mascara formulas. This one's great, stays put, doesn't leave any residue under the eyes, has almost a definition, so you can see those little spikes on there, to the, yeah, it gives you that definition because it has those little spikes on the brush, so those little bristles on the brush actually help separate the lashes, so you have that beautiful definition, very natural but super long looking lash. Okay, and we do have some more intense as well, but that's our Lash Love. I often also use waterproof mascara to top off anything I'm using. So if I have a softer mascara formula, I'll do that first and then top it with our waterproof, or I'll just, even the formula that I just did, I just feel like it seals it even more. We do have water resistant mascaras as well, like the Ultimate, which are fine if your eyes water or anything on that line, so to do your bottoms. But again, for someone with a deep set eye, my biggest complaint that, well, I have and I hear other people make is that they'll sometimes see their mascara or their liner coming down right away, and just a way to prevent that is having a waterproof mask. So that shows my basic routine that I do to lift and open the eyes, even with deep set and hooded eyes. You can still look like you have a nice big open eye. You look awake. Again, you can clean that area a little more, just keeping it nice and clean. You can even go back in with a concealer and do that even more. Another trick that I often do is actually I'll do all my eye makeup first. Then I'll go in, because I'm typically goofing with my mascara or have some fallout from shadows, and these are way better now that we have these 12-hour stay chroma fusion colors. They just stay all day. But if you have any issues with that, do your eyes first, and you're not wiping away all the work that you just did. You do them first and then go ahead and do your concealer, under eye corrector, foundation, etc., and finish it off. So, what do you think? So if it'd be helpful for you to have a little reference tool right in your bathroom that you can keep with you, covering these same hooded eye steps, I'd be happy to send that your way. Just shoot me a PM with your email, and I will send that your way.